We want you to kindly relate the nature of Eggon Land, migration structures, culture, and belief system as it's applied to your field of studies to serve as a promotion of your people globally.
Okay. Maybe in my former life, maybe I was a historian, I don't know.
Okay.
Because history is something that I'm very interested in. In fact, my history teacher in secondary school was very disappointed when I ended up in the sciences. Because I was topping his class and then I was a science student.
Now you moved to science.
Yes, when we came to Form 3 and then everybody had to decide whether you are going to be a science student or you are going to be an art student. So I've always been interested in the history and the migrations. I know a lot of stories about migrations of different races, and the Eggon is not left out. When I was about 10, I read a book. It was, I don't know whether the person is English, but it's a foreign writer. My father used to collect a lot of books. My father was a reader.
Okay.
So I picked one of his books and I was reading. And I saw somewhere where they said that the Eggon people migrated from Egypt, the Cairo area, and then came to around the Maiduguri.
A foreign reader said that?
Yes, Maiduguri. And you know, the common knowledge here is that from the Maiduguri, we migrated with the choreographers and we started going our different ways. And then, of course, I've met people in Rukuba, here in Basa local government.
Right.
I've interacted with them. And when I tell them I'm Eggon, in fact, one mama particularly, when I told her that I'm Eggon, she hugged and hugged me. She said, Kunkudu kumbarmu. They are believed to be Eggon people. Even their sound, the way they speak, the sound. And then one day I was in one of the Rukuba villages, Kehan, and then some women were talking, and I had her scolding her children, and she said, "Waganga," and I said, "Eh, what are you saying?" I was shocked. Until today, we share names with them. Aku, you know, it's a very common name and we have it in Eggon Land. You know, Ayuku. I even have a friend
who is Ayuku.
Ayuku. She's Rukuba. Yes. So things like that. And so the Eggon people migrated. I don't know what happened. I don't know the story of why they were left, whether a family was sick or a family needed to stay back for one thing or the other. I know I also heard that in Eggon Land, if somebody steals or somebody does anything that is wrong, they kind of excommunicate you. Yes. So nobody knows what the story is. But the large number of the Eggon people migrated and moved to their current location. And recently, less than 100 years ago, in fact, somebody told me that maybe about 50, 60 years ago, that some Rukuba people tried to go back to meet. They've been told the story that this is not where they are, that their people have already moved. So they tried to get connected back to the Eggon people and now went the wrong direction and found themselves around this Wamba area.
Okay.
So some of them settled there. But after a long time, they discovered that the people there were not speaking Eggon. Unknown to them, if they had moved a little further, they would have met the Eggon people. So they retract and came back to the Rukuba site where they are today. And so I met one of the traditional rulers in Wamba, the chief of Nakere, Mr. Monde Chaga. His royal hand is Monde Chaga. So some few years ago, so I said that, I don't know why, I just said, so our Rukuba brothers came to us. He said, Gakupan sunanare and so awurumu.
What? That's their relics.
Yes, yes. Where they came is still there. And then they now, because not all of them moved, so they returned back to where they are now. And in our similarity in our architecture, we discover that it's the same architecture that we do. The only difference is because they were a very little group, and there are other tribes around them. They now settled in the valleys. And you know, valleys, you always have water bodies.
Yes.
So the difference in our architecture with the current Rukuba architecture is the foundation.
Okay.
So in their own foundation, they raise it a bit on boulders, stone stanchions with sand, so that water goes beneath, because they are afraid. So when people are coming, they don't know that there's a tribe down there. So, and this is recorded. We have it documented that the Rukuba people settle in the valleys and these are their reasons for settling in the valleys. So you can see the connection.
Yes.
So that's what it is. So the Eggon migrated with their tradition and their construction. They use stones.
Yes.
Yeah. So and it's still happening, except now that people have moved, they have abandoned the tradition. They are just borrowing from here and there, using the contemporary materials to do their structures. So that's the difference.
I have also seen that most of the constructions that people have done in the ancient time lived very long. You know, some buildings could stay for up to 100 years, 200 years. But some of the current constructions, they hardly could even stay for up to 50 years.
Yeah, because we borrow materials. You know, people who build with the available materials that are with them last longer because the soil and the walls and the foundation are related. So they stick to each other.
Oh, that's a secret.
So they stick to each other. So you find that they are there. And and one thing I want to say is when I was a child, you know, my parents stayed in Kano. I was born in Kano. Most of my siblings were born in Kano. Okay. So we usually come home sometimes for Christmas or sometimes for holidays. And I remember as a child, the Eggon typical compound, apart from the rooms, the Eggon architecture had space for kitchen.
Oh, yes.
They had their huts, a specific hut
for kitchen,
where you find that there are grinding stones there.
They are all there.
Yes, there are storages like cupboards made of walls, mud and stones.
Yes.
You know, so we are not learning these things today. They've been there with us. So all these things, but in most traditional architecture that I have studied, I discovered that they don't have a defined kitchen. They cook within the center of the compound. So they take advantage and then warm themselves up. Okay. But the Eggon man defined kitchen.
His kitchen.
And his storages where he keeps his food and all that. So that tells you the rich culture behind the Eggon people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Recently, there were a lot of designs in the Eggon's palace. It has different forms. Thank you for describing architecture as science and arts. We have a lot of art forms there. There are science in the constructions. Now, that's supposed to be the root of our culture. What would you say, or what are your thoughts concerning the architectural structure, the forms and the designs being represented there? Does it have any relation with the originality of the architectural structure of the Eggon, the early or the ancient? And which story does it tell on our people?
Sadly, what we have as the Eggon Palace does not portray the Eggon culture, does not tell the Eggon story, does not represent the Eggon architecture. When you approach the palace from the outside, of course it is a contemporary structure. It's a modern day structure. Okay? So, okay, it's a palace, okay, but it doesn't give you any identity. An identity is not something that you write on it to say the Eggon Palace. Then it means the identity is lost. That is why you have to write it.
True.
Then when you step into the palace, you are greeted by Arabic inscriptions and decorations. This is not what we are known for. We are Eggon people. We have our culture. We have our ornaments. We have our decorative features, materials that we could represent. And this is absent. And I think this discussion has been going on for too long. We have to right what is wrong. And doing the right thing is just the right thing to do. And I know that the Eggon people are people who want to do the right thing, are people who want to uphold their culture, are people who want their children, grandchildren, and the future generation to know what the Eggon people are all about. So I feel that we should revisit that. I've been told that there's a committee. I don't know how long the committee wants, or we'll have to create another committee in that committee so that action will take place. I don't know. But I am saddened. You go to other areas, you go to the Kano Emir's Palace, you know that you are in Hausa land. You go to the Oba, any of the Obas, you go to the Benin Kingdom, you see the Oba's Palace. You know that you are in Benin Kingdom. You don't have to write it. You can write it for people who don't know what they are doing, so that they say, oh, okay, so this is what it is. But an identity is something that you see and you know that this belongs to. It's just like our regalia. The Adire and the... the Adire is even dying. I don't know why, because we now have the Ashoke. Okay. We are forgetting the Adire. We are leaving the Adire to the Gamai people and the Kwara and the Jukunas when we are part of it. I remember when I was in secondary school, we were going to do our cultural day. So I told them at home, what I was given was the Adire, the blue Adire that had those. That's what I wore, and I presented myself as an Eggon girl. So the Adire, I have lots of them. I use them. Great. So because when people say, because you're married to Eggon, I say, no, we also wear the Eggon people also use it.
That's right.
Yeah, so I keep saying that so that people will be informed. We should not be ashamed of who we are, because we didn't create ourselves. God placed us there, and placed us. He created us and placed us there, and gave us an identity. So why would we want to say, maybe because I'm a Christian, or because I'm a Muslim, or because I'm a pagan, or whatever, that I want to throw away? Look at what is happening to the Hausa people now. The Hausa people are now becoming united. They are telling themselves that, look, whether you are a Christian or a Muslim, Maguzawa or idol worshipper, you are Hausa. Let's come together. Yes, let's come together. And they have connected with their people in Niger. They've connected with their people in Sudan. A big movement is going on now amongst the Hausas. And it took them over 200 years to wake up. Must we wait to be 200 years before? I mean, this thing started not too long ago. We can put right what has been wrong and come together and do the right thing. I think that is what we should do. Because
I know that gradually the culture and the identity is being eroded completely. And our people and the next generation, or future generation, will eventually begin to see themselves as the culture that is being represented that they could see. And I think that is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. So what advice do you have to give to the entire Eggon nation, be it the traditionals too, the cultural council, the council of elders, it could be EGDA, it could be the youth wing and the women wing, or any group, just the Eggon nation, if you have the Eggon nation advice you want to give to them.
The Eggon nation must be united. Why do we say Eggon Kenya and we don't follow it? If we are one, it means we are united. And once a people are united, there is no stopping the level of which they will get to. The progress will be, precedented. You can't stop the progress of anybody that is united in purpose and in all that we do. So to the different groups, especially the traditionals too, they are the custodians of our culture. And they must ensure that the culture is maintained and is upheld. We must not
bring in religion.
Religion, which we must not bring religion or education to dampen our own culture. If it wasn't important, God wouldn't have given it to us. So we must not be like others. We have an identity. We must live with our identity. We must speak the language. We must teach the language. We must preach the word. If I must say that, everywhere I go, I tell everybody I'm Eggon. When I was in UK in De Montfort University, there's a form. As you come in, you fill in the form. So when they wrote, I saw Nigeria, and I didn't see Eggon there. And I told them that I'm none of this. I'm Eggon. So they were forced to include it.
Eggon? Really?
Yes.
Great.
So incidentally, I think I should have been the first maybe Eggon person to be in that university for it to be the first time they knew anything like that. So that we must be the ones to sell ourselves. Wherever you go, we understand there was a governor who went to Australia and we are well traveled. And at that time, they told him that, there are a lot of people here who are from Nasarawa State. See, in Australia, there are, yes, he said, our people don't travel. So they said there were about 7 people from Nasarawa State that are in Australia. I said, hey, please, I would like to have a dinner. When the assembly, the only one was not Eggon.
6 were Eggon.
So that is our story. And we are known to be the Igbos of Nasarawa State. And I hope you know that we are connected to the Igbos traditionally.
Yeah.
When you look at the Atelugus dancers, there's a calendar that I saw. I saw the Anzalu dancers, but it was written underneath, Atelugu dancers from Enugu. I now wrote, it was an insurance company. I wrote a message and sent to one of the numbers, and I called someone there. And he picked up, and I told him that on your, is it March or April? The picture there, they are not Atelugu dancers. They are Eggon dancers from Nasarawa State. They are Anzalu dancers from Nasarawa State. So the man said, oh, it's good to know. I said, it's not just good to know. You record it, please. Let others know.
Yeah.
So if we can be doing our beats, and you know that we are the only ones that do that flute, that the same flute that the Igbos use.
Yeah, madam.
Yes. So we are the only ones with them. So you can see the connection. And if you look at our burial rites, we cave, in our caves, we kind of have chambers.
Yes.
Even when burials are not done in chambers, they dig and do chambers.
Yes, right
inside. Even create rooms, for the burial of maybe the family head with his own siblings. And the Igbos are known to be the Jewish people. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the history, when Jesus died, what happened? He was talking to one of those tombs. Those chambers, yes. And that is, you can see the connection. You can see the connection. And we share names. Anger. All those Etimakus, all those, Igbos have them, we have the names. We have quite a number of Iwu.
Yeah, Iwu.
Yes, we have those. Yes, we have those commonalities. So you can see that there are some traces, and even in our way of life, the Eggon man is very hardworking.
The industrial nature of an Eggon.
Yes, very industrious, well traveled. Yes. You go everywhere, you see Igbo man. You go everywhere, you see Eggon man. So you can see the similarities, and you can see the connections between the Eggons and the Igbos.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Yes. At this point, what would you like to be remembered for? Because I know 100 years from now.
Yeah, I won't be here.
You'll be history. So
even
what would you like to be remembered?
Even 30 years from here.
Let me just say 100. Thank you.
Because I'm 58 already.
You don't look it, Prof.
Yes, but my gray hairs tell the story.
You don't look it. Still very strong.
I would want to be remembered as somebody who was in faith. I'm a believer of Jesus Christ. I have my faith. I'm a Christian. I would want to be remembered as somebody who is hardworking, determined. I've had a lot of challenges in my life, but God saw me through. And even in those challenges, as you are going through the challenges, you know that your anchor is God. I discovered that in the challenges, I became first in many things, starting from being the first child of my parents.
Oh.
That's how my first position
started.
My father, late Philibus Allu, and my mother, late Elizabeth Allu, Mama Sabore, they used to call her.
Okay.
So I have been first in many things. And I know that it was God who saw me through, did many challenges, and who toughened me. Like I told you earlier that I went to a boarding primary school.
Yes.
It's because I was too much of a tomboy, and my father felt maybe it will calm me down. Instead, it made me more independent. So I'm a goal-getter. When I believe in something, I stick with it, and I'm a faithful friend. If I say you are a friend, I go all the way for it. It's only when I get disappointed. Even when people tell me that, be careful, I want to experience it
first. You see all over you, man.
I went to, so, and somehow, I have friends all over. I don't choose friends. As long as I connect with you, you are my friend. Connected. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter your religion. I connect with people. I have friends all over the world. And so that's my story. And I love to travel. Wow. I have traveled around. I wish I have the money to be going, but what I used to do was conferences. That was what helped me, especially when I was doing my PhD, because they allowed it. So now and then I kind of get a conference in US, I go get a conference in Germany, I go France, I go. So that's how I was able to go to these places and to enjoy my hobby. I love traveling.
At this point, I would like to sincerely appreciate your husband, because I know he allowed you to achieve all this. You have something to say about him?
Yeah, he's my backbone, my support. He's the biggest cheerleader that I have, because whatever I'm doing, he's in for it. Like when I was thinking of sabbatical, being the deputy dean. So I felt, let me finish my tenure as a deputy dean of my faculty. And then I'm thinking, so I'm just thinking of places around. I said, I know that you want to go far. You're open to go to anywhere you go. I can tag along. Wow. He's retired. He's a retired civil servant. He retired as a director of admin in the Jos University Teaching Hospital. He's also a knight of the Sembulumbas. He's also a lawyer. Yeah, after school and all that, he went back to read law. So he's my support. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
He's my friend, my gisting partner.
Thank you very much. At this point, this interview has come to a close.
I want to thank you too for inviting me and for finding me worthy to conduct this interview. I'm happy for that.
Thank you. God bless. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Same here.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Yeah.
Please, you can subscribe to GSP Forum and our YouTube channels. And all the channels are there. You're going to see it on the screen. Here you find a lot of interviews by a lot of eminent scholars and people who have really have histories and a lot of knowledge that will help you. Thank you.